My name is Joe Munoz, and I am a commercial real estate broker specializing in the purchase, sale, and leasing of shopping centers. My presentation to you will be focused on procuring a site for your business. So, you've devised your business plan, you've had aspirations to open up your own business. Now the next step is for you to procure your site. So that's what my presentation will cover. Due to the limited time, I'm just going to cover three aspects of leasing, which is components of a lease, qualifying for a lease, and the economics behind leasing as well. Thank you. Usually the process starts with what's called an LOI, also known as a letter of intent. An LOI is actually, you can kind of view it as a precursor to the actual lease. This is a non-binding legal document. So you can actually sign a letter of intent, and within a couple hours or a couple days, you can say, you know what, I'm rescinding my letter of intent. At this stage, when you're negotiating at this stage with the letter of intent, all of the terms and all of the aspects of the lease should be negotiated or hammered out. So that way, the transition is very smooth to the drafting of the leasing documents. So what is a lease comprised of? Well, probably the most important aspect of a lease is the length of time. How long would you like to lease a certain space? 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? There are also options available. Let's say, for example, you would like to lease a commercial space for a period of 3 years. You can also opt for an additional 3-year option, which means that after 2.5 years, you're doing really well, and you decide, I want to stay here another 3 years. The landlord cannot deny you extending your lease another 3 years. So you really need to be aware of that. On your initial, you have your initial term, and you have your options as well. Actually, the most important item is the cost per square foot. And this is a little bit confusing to a lot of people because a lot of times people will call brokers or property managers and they'll say, well, how much is the rent? And they'll say, $3 a square foot. Well, that's really meaningless because you want to know what the bottom line is, correct? So you'll see that a lot. And when you are quoted a price on the phone for the cost per square foot, and by the way, the average parameters in cost per square foot for retail in San Jose is $250 to $350 or $375. However, Story and King, which is the Latino epicenter for retail, there's a developer that's constructing a new building. He's asking for $6 per square foot. But people are paying that because a lot of traffic, 73,000 cars pass daily through that intersection. So rents are very high there, higher than in Los Gatos and Saratoga. Okay, so you're quoted the cost per square foot. You need to ask your contact, is that gross or triple net? Triple nets, or NNNs, actually stand for taxes, insurance, and maintenance. The vernacular we use in commercial real estate is CAM, which is common area maintenance. So I'll give you an example. If you are renting 10% of the space in a shopping center, you will pay for 10% of the taxes, property taxes, which the landlord passes through. You will pay for 10% of the insurance that covers the building, and you will also pay for 10% of the maintenance fee that the owner pays. So everything is passed through. So if someone quotes you a price and it's a gross lease, that is everything inclusive. Not utilities though. Landlords very, very rarely will pay for utilities. Deposits vary. Most of the landlords that I work with, whether they're private or institutional, will ask for between 1 and 3 months for a security deposit. A very important component of a lease is called a non-compete clause. Now, a lot of landlords don't want to have tenants that compete directly with each other. They want to have a vibrant, synergistic center. But I've seen shopping centers that have numerous beauty salons, and it's not a good idea, but some of them do it. So you need to ask about, let's say you're opening up a panaderia or a bakery, you need to let them know, I want to have an exclusive in this center. I don't want any other bakeries in this center to compete with. The next item is called tenant improvements, also known as TIs. Let's say you're opening up a restaurant, and restaurants are very expensive to start up. You know, you have to buy a grease trap, a hood, anywhere between $65,000 and $100,000. So let's say on the average for about 1,000 to 1,500 square foot space. You can actually ask the landlord, you know what, I'm investing a lot of money in your center. Will you help me out with my TIs or my tenant improvements? And sometimes the landlords will say yes if they want you bad enough. So that's another thing you need to keep in mind, and it also could save you a lot of money. Annual increases are very common, and they are usually based on the consumer price index or parameters. The majority of the leases that I'm executing now are based on CPI, but have parameters of 3 to 6%. Now, in March, we had a jump of 0.9%, so that was a pretty big jump. So you need to be aware that there will be some type of verbiage in there that will let you know what the increases will be, and if you don't agree with it, you can counter the landlord or the owner.